Connor Mackenzie on your right against Cory Lack on your left. It's Rakdos Transmogrify against Rakdos Cauldron. And maybe important here, to play draw, Cory Lack gets to go first.
I don't think it's the biggest deal in this kind of matchup, which is, a fair bit about accumulating cards, although Connor on a mulligan to 6, this duress is looking very strong.
That duress is looking very strong. You see a Transmogrify, a bevy of lands, and the case of the stashed skeleton. Who done it?
Yeah.
Who done it? Where'd that skeleton come from? Gonna be a haunted ridge here from Connor Mackenzie to start things off. For Cory Lack, it is the fear of missing out. That'll discard the Tree of Perdition and passing the turn back. Just a Mutavault there from Connor in passing. See what Cory Lack wants to do this turn. This is the easy part here, attacking with fear of missing out, which is a pretty nice card, all things told.
Got a lot going on for a 2/3 for red 1.
You seen this thing, though?
You hear about this?
You hear about this guy? Goblin, too? Wow. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. There's a fountain port. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. Both players of the Fable and Mirrorbreaker. I know Treasure Cruise gets all the conversation about best card in Pioneer, but it's pretty hard to argue against this thing. Up to Chapter 2. And we'll see what Cory wants to discard here, potentially.
Looks like one land, debating on the second one. I don't think there's any route into the hand to get him to Delirium through that.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, it's not hard for this deck to turn on Delirium, though. This Rakdos Cauldron deck, so that means that Fear of Missing Out seems like it's going to be on pretty fast.
I mean, we're already up to 3.
Mm-hmm. Both players with the Fountain Port on the battlefield. I know a card you're a big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on with that. Utility land. Looks like this may be a Thoughtseize to start the turn. It is.
Really useful here to know. You know for sure you're going to hit because there's still the Transmogrify in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if you see a second copy in that spot, that would definitely affect how you play.
There goes the Transmogrify, leaving Connor Mackenzie with a Bank Buster and a Mountain. And now here comes the Fear of Missing Out and the Goblin Shaman token, yielding a treasure, of course. And that damage is going to come on through. So Mackenzie's going to fall down to 14. And now there's a Thrill Seeker. 2 counters on that, and we'll head back Mackenzie's way.
So the coast is potentially clear. Obviously, we would require a top deck plus untapped land. And I suspect that if Connor can't do it this turn, things are about to get out of control. And I would be willing to take a pretty big risk here looking for it.
Well, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into things. Well, there's the Fable. The second one of those. And we're going to go Cory's way now. Who will now transform the Fable into Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. So you kind of see what this matchup's about pretty quickly.
Yeah, a lot of resources stripped out of the game. Both players drawing very heavy to their best cards. I believe still no Delirium.
Yeah, I think we're still on 3. 3 types as here comes the Shaman token to make another treasure. We'll see if Connor wants to do any blocking or not here.
Cory showing a lot of commitment to defense here. You would assume there's no way that Connor would double block either the 2-3 or the 3-3.
Yep.
However, the damage here is not really worth any exposure for those Goblin Shamans being able to attack on the way back. And so Cory happy to just sort of sit back here. If there's a trade, Goblin for Goblin, that's fine. And then you're moving on next turn to your Reflection being online and a lot of good options to work with.
Goblin Shamans, plural, will trade. And now just a passing of the turn back over to Mackenzie as those sagas are going to climb on up. One will be transforming into a Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. The other will allow, of course, the drawing and discarding of some cards. So it looks like Mackenzie's going to discard a Bank Buster among the cards and now draw 2 new ones. There's your transformation on the other Fable. If the goal was to print a powerful red mid-range saga, mission accomplished. I'll tell you what. It's a heck of a card right there.
But the best builds, it's still, yes, it's super good and maybe too much or whatever. But the best builds of decks using this card care about the graveyard. It is about the sum of everything.
Mm-hmm. Haunted Ridge is going to yield a Fatal Push. And so the revolt is, of course, triggered because of the transformations that did take place, I believe. So that'll take care of that. And it looks like Mackenzie just wants to pass the turn back. Doesn't look like there are any good attacks, right? The Goblin Shaman runs into either a 3-3 or a 2-3. Oh, maybe reaching for a little Fountain Port action now here is Cory Lack. Yeah. Well, maybe not. What are we doing here? Yeah, just Fountain Porting? Okay.
Yeah, sacrificing one of the treasures, draw a card.
Yep.
Oh boy.
That was quick.
And we're done.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to explain that, Cracker Jack?
Yeah, so you exile the tree, and you can put a counter on a Thrill Seeker, or your Thrill Seeker already has a counter, and therefore it works. You run Swapsies and then Fling.
Kablooey.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you get it, you're dead.
Yeah.
You get it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play a, quote, bad card, quote unquote, in Tree of Perdition to make it work.
Well, I think I wouldn't call it a bad Magic card.
Okay.
But it's not something you would put in your deck under normal circumstances.
We agree. We agree. I'm going to call the tree a unique Magic card.
Like, I think that Voldaren Thrillseeker, let's take as an example. Do a lot of decks play that card? No.
Okay.
Is it low on rate? No.
Yeah,
A 3 costs 3/3, and you spread it out, and it's got backup. Like,
Yep.
Just at a baseline, it's got a lot going on. Tree is, you got to be up to something, but we are. Cory is, and now he's up a game.
He sure is. Connor Mackenzie, let's take a look at your sideboard. 2 Duress, 2 Go Blank, 2 Hidetsku consumes all, 2 Unlicensed Hearse, 2 Urbrass Forge, 5 One-Ofs, it's a Braid, Dampening Sphere, Extinction Event, Obnixilus the Adversary, and the Companion, Jagathi the Wellspring.
Would love to have an Abrade in this matchup as a way to fight over the Soul Cauldron. I think Obnixilus is probably just kind of strong in an attrition-y matchup of this sort. And nothing else really jumps out at me. The main deck's full of really good cards, and you have your engine. It's hard to sideboard too much.
Next up here for Cory, 1 win away from being the regional champion here in Washington, D.C. 3 Chandra's defeat, 3 Obnixilus the Adversary, 2 Duress, 2 Hazaret the Fervent, 5 One-Ofs as well. Bitter Triumph, Go for the Throat, Torch the Tower, Withering Torment, and everybody loves an Elemental Elk.
You know, I do like the Obnixilus here, I think. I could be talked into Chandra's defeat. I know it's not the perfect matchup for it, but any amount of 1 mana removal is very efficient at breaking up the Transmogrify combo, and there's an argument for being a little bit more redundant against so much discard.
Well, those are the options here for both players in our final matchup of the weekend in the nation's capital. And if you were able to make it to this SCG Con, I got good news. There's another one coming in Columbus next month.
Right around the corner, November 15th to the 17th in Columbus, one of the frequent stops of the SCG Con tour. If you're looking to sign up, you want to get more information on that or the future SCG Cons all around the country, go to StarCityGames.com/SCGCon. SCG short for Star City Games, and Con short for convention. Make it easy for you.
Good job by you.
Yeah.
Good job by you. Now, we haven't got to have this conversation yet here this weekend. Columbus, just a great town.
Real fun.
Great city.
Good eats.
I know you're thinking, it's in the middle of Ohio. There can't be much going on there. Why would I even go? Wait till Atlanta at the beginning of next year. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Columbus has got great eats and some good beats. That's what I say.
Really important part of early Magic history.
Indeed.
U.S. Nationals was there for a time.
Origins Game Fair.
Origins.
Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff going on.
I think
there.
Gen Con might have been there really early on. I might be thinking Milwaukee. But in any event,
you're thinking Milwaukee.
But in any event, there's a lot of early Magic history there. People come out in droves, big events, a lot to do.
Yes, Nick Miller, North Market.
A
lot of good eats there.
That's right.
Great convention center. Right near Ohio State University. Boo.
Boo.
Don't like them.
Go Boilermakers, go Knights.
That's right. Well, we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we have 1 win. I think maybe.
It's been bleak.
It's tough out there for
Yeah,
a
it's been tough.
Rutgers win yesterday?
No,
man.
lost 14-7 at Nebraska.
Ooh, only 7?
Big Ten football, baby.
Not a lot of those.
That's how we fit in.
Okay. That's not a lot of those points.
Yeah.
All right. Game number 2, Connor Mackenzie. I imagine a discard spell is probably going to come somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. There's Thoughtseize. Soul Cauldron, Blood Tithe Harvester, and Marvin Murderous Mimic. That's fun to say. That's the hand here for Cory Lack.
So the obvious prize here is the Soul Cauldron. That's kind of the thing that, the straw that stirs the drink. Notably, no removal there, which is a good thing to know about, or at least, plan for it right now if you're trying to set up the combo.
Thoughtseize you back. Ha! I'll see. As scary as the skeleton is.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fable the Mirror Breaker has got to go.
I don't know if you got another discard spell and you try to 2-3 it.
Yeah, well,
you know,
you don't. Get this thing out of here.
but it's known. You know, it's just some creatures left over. So gotta get that card out of there.
Skeleton on the way. And that'll be it for Connor Mackenzie. So we'll head back over to Cory now. There's a Blackleaf Cliffs, and now there's a Blood Tithe Harvester. And that'll yield a blood token. You know, it seems everything makes a token now.
Oh yeah.
No shortage of tokens in the game of Magic.
So just here we've had blood, clues, maps, treasure, various creature tokens.
Skeletons.
Yeah, skeletons.
Goblin Shaman. Fish token.
Ooh.
You always have to perk up.
I'm so happy when that happens.
I know.
Oh, the game has taken on a new dimension.
That's right.
It's unlikely to ever matter, but it's a thing to think about.
It is fun when it does matter, though, as there's a Raucous Theater. That top card is surveilled into the graveyard. See you later, Bread Grip. Hey, Marvin. And here comes Blood Tithe Harvester. Wouldn't be the worst time for a Transmogrify. That's always looming. Always a thing to be scared of your Cory, but not a lot that could be done about it.
That don't have the same name as this creature.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So it isn't looking at itself.
Correct.
Got it.
Some pretty scary artwork there. Hey, skill game. Fable the Mirror Breaker here. Easy does it. Blood Crypt tap. Not a bad turn there for Connor.
Yeah, it resolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, bud.
Easy does it. Let's see what comes next for Cory Lack. As Patrick did mention, we're talking about a $10,000 match of Magic here, folks. First place, $20,000. Second, $10,000. Both these players qualified for the World Championship next year, next Pro Tour, next Regional Championship. So just $10,000 on the line. No big deal.
Yeah. You've got a bunch of invites here, including in the World Championships. All that's left is the $10,000, the trophy,
Oh, I forgot the other thing.
the interview with Nick
The
Miller.
interview with Nick Miller. Big one there. Oh, what a betrayal. Oh, I don't like this at all.
I know. With 4 mana?
Yeah.
With 4, you already
Yeah.
have the 4
I
mana.
don't like this. Connor, I don't know, bud. Here's a duress. See what's going on over here. Bitter Triumph down. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it makes some sense. I guess.
Well, Cory wouldn't even want to cast the Bitter Triumph there anyway, because
No,
then
I'm just talking about the
then it-
Jigantha being gone.
oh sure,
That's
then
why
it-
I'm still a little sad.
it solves the case of the silly skeleton.
It does. All right, here's the discard off of Blood Token. Open a spike or removal spell to maybe counteract this Transmogrify. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for Cory Lack. Yep, that skeleton is going to turn into an Atraxa.
And because it's done off the case, that means now there's a backup tutor, even if Cory's able to find a removal spell to handle this Atraxa and the leftovers.
Yep. And there it is. Atraxa's in the house. That's what this deck is all about. A little bit of interaction back and forth. Get Atraxa on the battlefield. Find a couple of cards from the Phyrexian Angel, and that should take care of things from there. So, top 10 cards about to be revealed. Bankbuster and Thoughtseize among them. So, there's a Fable. Ever heard of it? Backup Transmogrify. Looks like a Blackleaf Cliffs. Fatal Push. Reckoner Buster. Not bad.
Good array of stuff.
Yeah, not bad. I think you like to call that material.
Yeah, cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And we're done.
No muss, no fuss. Connor Mackenzie going to tie things up here against Cory Lack. Rakdos Transmogrify and Rakdos Cauldron getting ready for a third and final one to crown our champion here at Regional Championship, Washington, D.C. It can't just be that straightforward.
Look, hands get attacked. There's some creatures on the battlefield. They don't matter very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, someone peels their thing. The other person has a very limited array of cards that can have a hope of playing against it.
Yep.
Game 3 underway.
Now, during Modern, way back when, 2012, 13, 14, around that time,
Yeah.
players would actually sideboard out Thoughtseize style effects in a matchup kind of like this, like the Jundmere.
Right.
But we don't see that taking place here.
Well, it's very different when you're talking about something like Bloodbraid Elf, where the value of thought seizing that is not worth the risk of drawing it when someone is hellbent or close to it. Here, when there's a card like Fable that's just so incredible in this style of game, you can't get away from your discard the same way. Also, in those old Jund mirrors, your life total was under a lot more pressure than these games look like.
That's true. That's true.
You know, getting hit by haste creatures, and then there's a Raging Ravine left over. The 2 life from Thoughtseize actually matter. Here we've had 2 players basically just concede to a combo.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, these players are going to get ready for third and final one, so let's talk real quick about the SCG cons coming up next year. Now, we already talked about Atlanta in that Spotlight series, but we can't forget about Portland.
We're all over the country this coming year, and we're going to be taking our act up to the Pacific Northwest. SCG Con Portland, February 7th through the 9th. Find more information at starcgames.com/SCGCon. That will have a modern regional championship. You can be in the process of qualifying for that now. And make sure you be using hashtag SCG Portland 4 months from now to
Join that.
talk to some other Yahoos.
Theoretically, you could join that conversation now. There's another conversation you can join. SCG Charlotte if you want.
Bang,
That
even
one's-
further down the line.
Yeah, that one's ready to rock and roll. SCG Charlotte, March 7th and 9th, right around my birthday. You can learn more about that event at starcitygames.com/SCGCon. I think that one's a standard regional championship. I can't say for sure.
I believe it's also modern.
Okay, that's fun. Modern's a fun format. Here's what I can tell you for sure. Charlotte, another great city. Another great city.
Yeah, because when I was trying to figure out where I wanted to use my invite,
Yeah.
I talked to Suarez, Jonathan Suarez,
Boo.
great longtime player of Star City Games, and I was like, yo, what format is Portland? He goes, modern. And I go, okay, what's the other one? And he goes, also modern.
Oh, okay.
It's like, okay, fine. I'll
All right.
go to Portland then, I guess.
Hey, Thoughtseize time. Put that Fable in the bin. Put it in the graveyard.
Yeah.
I don't think Connor cares much about Marvin the Martian and Voldaren Thrillseeker.
I mean, that is a curve. That's turn
You are right.
3. You are attacking 4/4
Uh-huh.
if you want to.
Put that Fable in the graveyard,
Here we go.
Marvin.
Marvin, bang.
Murderous Mimic. There's a Fountain Port. Oh, the skeleton. What
Ooh.
happened to that skeleton?
Yeah. It's a race.
Yeah.
Ooh, beautiful.
Okay, Mutavault could make this a little bit of a racing
And we have Soka's in hand too.
Okay. Okay.
Is it just time? Is it just time to go beatdowns?
You don't have to ask me, man. Look, I'm all for it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still beatdowns, just a little slower. Beatdowns on suspend.
obviously, against a deck that has Fatal Push, I can appreciate wanting to put it on the 3 rather than 2. On the other hand, come on now.
Here comes the skeleton. In for 2. It's suspected, which means it has menace and it can't block. Have you seen this card?
Have you seen this card?
Have you seen this thing?
I think this one has a real future in Constructed.
Yeah, I think it might be all right. Pretty unbelievable. We head back Cory's way. Is Cory all lands? I mean, there's going to be beatdowns for the moment. Here comes the Thrill Seeker.
Lumps. Looks like that's some sort of promo blood type harvester, I can only assume. All right, great. Still got it. And now if I understand Marvin correctly, Marvin is now a blood type harvester
I think that's right.
and could have killed the Goblin Shaman.
Let's see. Has all activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature. It's the same name as Marvin. Yeah, so it could be a Blood Tithe Harvester. Could have taken care of that goblin. I don't think you want to take care of the skeleton.
No.
Doesn't seem too smart.
No, that's...
Oh.
You put your detectives on that case.
That's true. Let's see how Connor wants to navigate this turn. 4 mana at the ready, potentially 5 if the Goblin Shaman gets the opportunity to attack and create a treasure. Lot to think about here, how to navigate this game. Looks like the skeleton's going to come in. That thing's basically unblockable.
Well, now remember also the Marvin here is a thrill seeker as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could be used to break up a combo.
Very good point. Marvin's tricky like that.
Yeah. I suppose that's the argument for not putting the counters on Marvin. You want a spread of as many 2-power creatures as possible if you assume that Connor is going to be threatening to transmogrify you with 2-toughness creatures for the most part.
All right, we're going to head back Cory's way after using that blood token. Looks like a little upkeep action. Looks like an abrade. Okay.
Yep. Because Cory had the mana left over last turn, Connor wants to do it now. So if Cory wants to do something with the Thrill Seeker, it requires mana on his own turn rather than the free mana he had laying around at the end of Connor's.
Makes sense. Let's see where the Thrill Seeker is going to go. All right. Goblin Shaman down. Now Cory will draw for turn. Thoughtseize is timely, it appears. There's a fatal push in hand here for Mackenzie, among other things.
And Cory actually kind of has the down draw of this game. It's got a Mutavault left over, Succumbs in hand. And Connor's spot is not really that good at blocking.
Mm-hmm. And there's the push on Marvin.
Ooh. Nothing.
Yeah. Some stinkers.
This is the first game we've seen so far in this match. It's looked kind of like something resembling an old-fashioned damage race.
It does. And now you're going to see an attack here for 5. Mackenzie's going to fall down to 8. So this gets interesting now because there's always the threat of, oops, I drew Transmogrify.
Yeah.
You know, so, and Cory doesn't have any recourse against that. So there's an attack with the skeleton. And there's just to sacrifice the token
Yep.
to the fountain port.
Case is solved.
Yep. So now the case is solved. Don't forget the reflections of Kiki Jiki that's out there. I know it's not doing a ton at the moment, but it is notable. Okay, Blood Crypt enters the battlefield tapped. And as mentioned, that case is solved. So now heading back over to Cory Lack, who, as you mentioned, Patrick, is just trying to do a little bit of good old damage racing here. This is a way to do some damage racing.
Hold up.
Okay.
Hold on here.
Okay. Hello, Hazaret the Fervent.
I mean, this covers even a Traxxa next turn is covered.
And activate Mutavault and attack with everything, so you got to block Hazaret now. Right?
Yes.
Or you can block.
Well,
You can block the Blood Tithe Harvester and go to 1. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying it's a thing you can do.
yeah, you can. Yes, I suppose you can trade. And then if you have an Edict in your deck, which there is one Shieldred's Edict.
Yep.
I don't know if it's still in the deck. I would probably bet against, but
Okay.
it's possible.
Oh, a pretty good draw. Okay, so gonna go down to just 1. Will Mackenzie. So now you got to find a way to get Hazaret off the battlefield because of the activate ability on that.
Yes.
So now Mackenzie's gonna untap.
I mean, he can tutor for an Edict if it's still in the deck, but that would still require answering the Mutavault.
Okay, so here comes the tutor. This Shieldred's is in the deck. Immediately search that up. Okay.
The Edict, rather?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shieldred's Edict. Hanging out. Good match of Magic broke out here to close out this tournament. There's a land.
We got a good sweat for once.
Yep, here's an Edict. Okay, Hazaret down. Back over to Cory. What's this draw step going to be? There's some good ones in here. He's reaching for the Mutavault right away. Fire it up. Coming on in. Torch the Tower says you don't win. Not yet. Mutavault down. Follow up. Have you seen this card?
Have you seen this thing?
Have you ever seen this thing? Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Not a bad draw. Over to Connor Mackenzie we go. Mackenzie is a reaching. Gotta stop this thing now. That Goblin Shaman.
Remember, Mackenzie, Connor rather can't make a fish here. Down to 1. Have you seen this thing?
I am familiar with its work.
Okay. Cory now with a lot of looks.
Yep. Empty-handed right now. Take a draw. Will Cory Lack. That's 1. Fable. Up to 2. How's that card feel? That card, we don't get a good look at it.
Well, I can't imagine you'd keep anything that wasn't game over.
I think I'm inclined to agree with you. Now it makes me just wonder what that card is.
If it's something like Blood Tithe Harvester, like a card that does something but isn't game over, I would keep looking.
Well, he kept it.
Okay.
Okay. Treasure Toke. Trade. I'm digging for a treasure token here. Okay, there's the trade. What's the card? Okay. Fountain Port?
Justifiable, I think.
I think it's one of the only justifiable ones not to
Right,
throw
yeah.
away. Because this also, well...
It's a redraw this turn
Yep.
if you want it to be.
Yep. Okay.
Because here's a couple things going on here. It's a redraw if you need it. And also the fish that you could make is lethal too.
Sure. Now, it looks like Cory's not sure exactly what to do with the Fountain Port. Because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of different roads you can go. All right, so sacrifice that to draw a card. What's this? Thoughtseize. Cory's going to fall a little bit lower. This hand has a Gigantha. I don't have a great look at the second card. I don't know if you caught it or not.
It looked like maybe duress to me.
Okay. Well, a couple of cards to discard right now if you're Connor Mackenzie. Fables are working overtime for these players. There goes a Blood Crypt, and it looks like a duress. 2 cards coming. For Mackenzie, it'll be a Haunted Bridge. And just a passing of the turn. So, for Cory Lack, who does have an active Fountain Port. First things first, it's time to transform that Fable into a Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. Can't attack right away, but it is something that Connor Mackenzie has to concern himself with. That's just a land and a passing of the turn. So, Mackenzie is reaching on the end step.
Just fountain porting up a treasure here.
Okay. Treasure's in. This. Mackenzie is tapping mana for something. Looks like a removal spell. Bitter Triumph. Okay.
Sure, I can respect just wanting mana freed up. You're gonna be priced into doing it anyway.
Okay. Transform the Fable. Card drawn. Uh-oh. All right, that's sack a treasure to Fountain Port, draw a card. What's this? Bank Buster. Okay. That's pretty good at this stage of the game, and we're in this whole,
Yep.
we're playing off the top of the deck style.
You got a blocker now available for the fish.
Yep.
Presumably, a spell for the reflection would be game over
Mm-hmm.
because it does not have enough power to crew.
But we don't know exactly what's in Connor Mackenzie's hand. It could be a removal spell over there. Maybe.
Maybe. Tough way to do it, though.
Yep.
If you have a removal spell for the fish, then Cory gets to draw anyway off of the fountain port. There we go.
There's your fish.
Blah, blah, blah.
Big draw here for Cory. Reaching right away. Soul Cauldron. Yep, I think I wouldn't say that resolves just yet if I'm Connor. I don't know what that can do. Activate Bank Buster. That's going to do it. Cory Lack is going to win this game and match over Connor Mackenzie. 2-1. Rakdos Calder will take care of Rakdos Transmogrifying Partner. We got ourselves a champion here in DC.